Good morning, everybody, again from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Lexington, Ohio. This is DriverSeye live from the North American Formula 1000 Championship presented by EPC. I'm Brendan Kazmarek, joined by Joseph Budrock. We'll bring him in a minute, but we're under 5 on the grid to get race 4 of the championship started, and for that, we go to Right Turn Racing TV's Dustin Hodges.
And welcome to the grid for round 4. We are under the 3-minute warning. Engines just fired up. Here is your MPT Industries pole position. Nico, ready to start on pole and have some fun today, huh?
Oh, yeah, it's awesome. I love it. We're Sunday, and we're racing, so I'm happy.
Best of luck. Go get them, buddy. We'll do a quick rundown here for you guys. Like I said, they're under the 3-minute. They're getting ready to roll out. Here is your defending champion starting P2, 77, Alex Mayer. Got an in-car on that car, as well as an in-car on the 43 of Shane Prieto. We've got Riley Harris, local boy, right down the road, number 12, Mantic. Newcomer to the series, first time in the car this morning in qualifying. This is Tommy Kowalder. I said that wrong, I'm 99% sure, but he's in the number 39 Arrive Drive Motorsports JDR. Here is Tim Pierce in the 81 Waterfall Security Solutions JDR. John Willoughby, who did have a little contact yesterday. They got that car fixed. Crew worked all night long up until 3 o'clock in the morning getting that car fixed and back out on track. And once again, it is 93. Steve Hamilton in that CSI Leasing EPC JDR. Steve is in his backup car after they had some issues with the main car. And this backup car seems to be running well. These guys are rolling out on track. I'll throw it back up to you as we get ready to go green.
All right, we're going to do the thing for the last time this weekend from Mid-Ohio. Like we said, this is round 4. We qualified early this morning, and as Dustin told us from live on the false grid, it was Shane Prieto. I'm sorry, no, it was Nico Vardis who stuck it on pole. Yeah, well, hey, we missed Nico yesterday during the podium. I got him wrong on pole today. It was Nico Vardis who took pole this morning. It's because he's all the way up in 4th on the overall grid that I'm looking at here at the moment. Fantastic lap time right at the end of qualifying. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but I did see Alex Mayer just after the qualifying session. I said, man, you got really good at passing cars out there. He was mired in traffic virtually the entire session. Our producer, Tanner, noted that from watching his onboard, kind of monitoring on the side, every lap he got one going, he ended up having to sit behind somebody in exactly the wrong spot and really hampered his qualifying effort. So your race 3 winner, Alex Mayer, going to be starting behind the eight ball a little bit there in 2nd behind Nico Vardis.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see our quadruple champion not starting from the pole. It'll be a little bit of an interesting race. It'll be a little bit of a shakeup. It'll be interesting to see if the 43 there, Shane Prieto. I just had to double check that because he came across trip timing in a weird place.
Yeah, exactly.
See if the 43 of Shane Prieto can make this interesting. We've got an onboard on both these 2nd and 3rd place cars, so we are in a prime position to see some interesting action, to say the least.
Yeah, we saw a great ride yesterday on board with Nico Vardis, the battle he had with Shane Prieto early on. And I had mentioned this again this morning, but we theorized maybe Nico could go make a charge at Alex. So now, instead, what we get is to watch this battle from 2nd with Alex Mayer. We get the battle we were hoping for at the end of the race yesterday, but kind of got shorted out of. And instead, we're going to get to ride on board with Alex in the number 77 JDR as he takes the fight to Nico Vardis starting up there on pole. We already got a rundown from Dustin Hodges down there in the false grid. We'll rejoin him at the end of the race, our 35-minute concluding race this afternoon for the podium, where we'll award the Kavana Cups for race 4. But in the meantime, the Atlantics, who are sharing the track this weekend, headed down out of turn 1 to go get the green flag on the back straightaway here at Mid-Ohio. Vardis leads Mayer about 15 seconds further back in a split start for the F1000s. Prieto is back there.
One and only formation lap for these guys. So the Atlantics will be taking the start pretty soon, and they will be followed shortly thereafter by the F1000s, customary, as always, to start a race on the back straight into the kink at Mid-Ohio.
Right you are. We'll miss the green flag from trackside. The Atlantics you'll see just off here in the distance. We'll pick up the green flag, and then we'll maybe hop on board here with Alex Mayer as he tries to get the jump on the number 00, the black JDR chassis of Nico Vardis. The Furman chassis starts in 3rd with Prieto, so that makes a little little more interesting manufacturer-wise was JDR's yesterday, we think, maybe a little hamstrung on top speed, so that makes things a little more interesting, at least for Prieto here in the first couple of laps. Maybe he can mount a challenge there as well, but he'll have his hands full with the number 12 of Riley Harris, the Van Diemen white chassis, starting just alongside him. On board now with Prieto, the 43. We wait for the green flag. He gets a fantastic jump, but he's going to get boxed in behind Vardis, who himself is swamped on the left-hand side by Mayer, then by Riley Harris. Riley Harris is going to take a look up the inside of Alex Mayer into turn 4, thinks better of it and backs out. But your pole sitter, Nico Vardis, may be back to 4th by the time we get things settled at the top of the hill here at Madness. Turn 5 and down the hill into turn 6, indeed. So now it's Mayer, Harris, Prieto, and Vardis. And poor Nico Vardis just not able to take advantage of the pole lap he set earlier this morning.
No, it was a weird start. It was almost like Mayer saw the green or maybe took the jump before Vardis did. I don't think that'll be something that needs to be looked at, but it might cause a little bit of consternation.
No, and we know Alex was a little flustered after the qualifying this morning. He's a talented enough driver that he'll have focused himself in for this afternoon and used that energy to get the absolute best jump off the green flag on the braking zone down into turn number 4, and he's done exactly that first thing this morning. High speed, high grip, high downforce through the outside of turn 1, or through turn 1. Our outside camera here, new for this afternoon. Kind of wish we'd have had that all weekend, actually. It's a nice shot and great shot of these F1000 chassis at speed. Now we jump on board with the whine of the the 1000cc Superbike engines in the background. This is on board with the 43 of Shane Prieto, who I think has jumped Riley Harris. Or is this Tim Pierce? This will be the 81 of Pierce, I think.
Yeah, so this is kind of the second pack. We've kind of bifurcated into 2 packs here in the early stages. We've got the what is basically the Mayer, Harris, Prieto, Vardis pack, and then the Cadwalder, Pierce, Willoughby, Hamilton pack, as some poor Carpenter bee meets its untimely demise.
But he had it coming. The way they've been here this weekend, poor guy had it coming.
Aggressive.
That happened live, too. It's never happened to us before, I swear. Alex Mayer leads Harris, Prieto, and Vardis. Like you already mentioned, Joseph, ahead of the 81 of Tim Pierce, we saw the red and white car. That's Thomas Cadwalder. And like Dustin mentioned down on the grid, newcomer this weekend. He's been here, I believe, in the F2000.
That's turned into a pack of 3. What's happened?
It has. So we've lost Nico Vardis, I believe. Yeah, we have. So Vardis has fallen behind Cadwalder.
Now, unclear. We don't have the onboard on him today, but unclear if maybe he's had an off track somewhere. We'll take a look and make sure nothing looks askew on that car. I don't think it does.
Oh no, that's not. So that's an identical looking car. Of course, that's.
So he must be stationary out on track somewhere.
Yeah, I think you're right, Joseph. And we're getting ready to go double yellow here at start.
What has happened?
It's Nico Vardis. Ooh, that's a late move. I think that was a late move on Harris
I don't
by
think that's
Prieto.
I don't know if they've seen the yellow flags, but the yellow flags were absolutely out by then.
I'm not sure. I think we were getting ready to go before they called it. If we have the onboard with, this will be onboard Prieto actually. You can see the flat spot on the right front tire zipping around at high speed. He locked the right front up trying to brake late behind Riley Harris, and there he is. When he did, he got the move done just in time, but it was as the yellow flags were coming out. So this is something we're going to have to watch here, because like you mentioned, Joseph, if it wasn't out, it was super, super close. And it's a tough spot for Prieto too, right? You're setting that move up from turn 1 all the way down the hill into turn 2. There is a flag station down there, but you're committed to making that move really early.
Yeah, and what can happen there is because we've got it's all kind of whitewashed concrete barriers, and obviously Marshall's all in white. It's a pretty warm day out here, so it's easy, it's plausible to think that maybe he missed the yellow flag at turn 1 if there was one out. Again, we don't know
think
that
it was out at that point, Joseph. I'll be honest with you. Watching the starter stand here.
So if the first flag that he came across would have been the one on the inside of the keyhole, that may have been good to the rules.
Yeah. No,
Still have not seen the 00 come across. So
no, this'll be a flag for Vardis. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, I don't see. Maybe we'll need to stay on board with this. Must be a gap in our trackside coverage, but maybe if we stay on board with somebody around this lap, we'll be able to see. To be honest, my suspicion is always the corner that we're looking at, turn 4, but I don't see anybody off there.
or any tracks they're trying to beach or anything like that.
No, I mean there's some water that's pooled down there, but I don't think those aren't tracks.
No, for sure. Yeah, if we have one of the onboards, I think it'd be good to follow that around, and we'll look left and right to see if we can pick it up. This is onboard of the Mayor.
Still on a tilt, it has to be said.
Yeah, that'll be the mount.
Now,
The other thing you'd be looking for is a waving white flag or a waving yellow flag to try and find the safety vehicles. But no such luck.
No, and what I wonder is if sort of if we've been unlucky with our cameras and maybe he's gone off on the run into turn 9 somewhere.
It is possible. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So Mayer's caught the back of the Atlantic
immediately into tire warming mode.
So one of the interesting things this is going to present for us, Joseph, when we do get back to green flag racing is now that 15-second gap we had between the back of the Atlantic's field and the front of the F1000 field, Mayer, Vardas, whoever it was, is now nothing.
Yes, and that'll become an issue basically immediately.
Yes, exactly my point. So when we go back to green, instead of having our race original start or restart dynamic, we're going to get a mid-race dynamic where the leaders of the F1000 cars are going to be overlapping in pace and track position with the tail end of the Atlantic's field. Kind of makes it an interesting, not so much a multi-class environment, but it does create a fascinating racing dynamic between the two, and it makes if you're in a field of, let's say, 8 or 10 cars, it makes things a little more interesting, gives you people to race against, and I think more than anything, it's going to create a really interesting battle with Mayer and Prieto and Harris now that we've lost the 00 of Nico Vardas. So we'll keep an eye out for that when we go back to green here. I can tell you the starter just across from us here in the timing tower is preparing a green flag, hopefully for when we come back around. So I assume the 00 will have been recovered, but not sure where that's been.
Well, it makes me, when we have these kind of these interweavings of the two classes, it does make me wonder, is that the 00 now? Ooh, trailing a lot of this.
Yeah.
I believe,
or is that gravel?
Well, it's I think it's gravel dust,
diffuser,
but I think
he's missing. Is he missing a front wing?
No, I don't think. I think it just looks
white,
like it.
Yeah.
And into the pit pits. I based on how fresh some of that dust was, I think we're right in surmising that it happened coming into turn 9.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't
Doesn't
see
look like there's
anything.
any. Yeah, no contact from the looks of things.
No, the rear wing looks fine.
Some checking of the left side pod.
And maybe he thinks he was clipped or was indeed clipped.
And now the right side pod. It would be interesting for it to be the left side if it happened up at turn 8 and 9. Because you would think maybe there was just a hip check there where he got shoved off into the gravel. The interesting thing, though, was he really wasn't in contention with, close contention with anybody other than hanging off the back of the 12 of Riley Harris. Right? He was well out in front of the 39 of Cadwalder.
Yeah, but I think the pace that we saw yesterday, he would have been faster than Harris. So I think my suspicion is that he's run back out. I don't know.
Joseph, I can tell you from Dustin Hodges, he spun and got high centered on a curb.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm waiting to find out what corner exactly, but that is the word from down in the pit lane, and obviously he will have found out from crew members and the folks down in the Nico Vardas camp at number 00 JDR.
Okay.
But it wouldn't surprise me if that happened up at turn 8 or 9.
We must have visually missed that because it's pretty difficult to find a curb
on the curb. Unless we had cameras on the right and he was high centered on a curb on the left.
So what I would be suspicious of is that maybe it was the exit curb of turn 9 because the way the camber is there, we might not have seen it on any of our onboards.
And that's a tricky corner at speed and with warm tires. Never mind, your first 2 laps of a race where you've got cold tires and you've just lost out on the lead coming back from having started on pole. So I think
if it is any consolation, if it was exit curbing, we wouldn't have seen it anyway.
That's true. Unfortunately, I think Nico here has lost 3 laps now.
No, yeah, he's fully out of contention. He's back out on track. So if anybody does retire in front of him, there's still an opportunity to pick up positions.
Yes. The 43 of Shane Prieto, by the way, as we get ready to come back to green, I wanted to make this point. Ran into him downstairs while we were setting up our onboards and all of that, and we saw him coast into the pit lane at the end of qualifying. It wasn't a fuel issue. The exhaust came off of cylinders 2 and 4, and he had shut the car off when he heard the noise just to make sure he didn't do any damage. No problem. Reattached the manifold, and we're back. He's back on track, and we're back to green. From Mid-Ohio, the Atlantics take the green right off the bat. Alex Mayer gets a good jump coming out of the final corner and dives up the inside of the number 8 Atlantic of Austin Hill. And he'll have to start defending now that he's made that move from the 43 of Shane Prieto.
Did not quite hit the apex there and shove the Atlantic a little wide.
Yeah, this will be on board with Prieto, I believe. Yep. And that's Alex in front of him. So he's got by the first of the Atlantics as well. Alex is a little wide at the
lock up on
the
the inside right tire.
Yeah, not the first time we've seen that in the opening laps. This afternoon.
It's actually not even a lockup. It's just the car is so stiffly sprung that it's totally unloaded as you come around turn 2.
You know, Mayer's got a good legs down the back straightaway here compared to the 43 of Shane Prieto, and that's interesting to me considering how good Prieto was at top speed down at the end of the straightaway yesterday. Harrison behind Prieto, and then we go Pierce. I think Pierce has gotten by Cadwalder.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's the... Oh, no, there's Pierce. There's Cadwalder. And
I think they may have swapped and re-swapped positions.
Interesting. I think Hamilton's made up a few spots as well, having started from the back of the grid in his backup car, the spare number 93 JDR chassis.
Yeah, obviously, he's certainly overtaken this
white car at the exit of 9. That is Cadwalder, I believe.
Might be Harris.
Mayer's trapped in behind
the 67.
The 67, yeah, that's Chris. So that's Chris Ash. And I don't know that Chris Ash is all that much slower or faster than Alex, but it's tough when you get stuck up behind one of these big Formula Atlantic cars. They have huge wings on them.
Yeah.
They make a bunch of power and have a ton of rear grip, so they get off the corners well, and they generate a ton of dirty air that is going to affect, the ability for the JDR chassis to produce downforce tucked right up behind it. It'll almost have to be a situation where if Mayer can get close enough, maybe Ash will let him go. But at the moment, I think Mayer has the legs.
No, I don't think so either. But this is one of those things where let's be frank, you're dealing with the front half of one field and the bottom half of another. So where they're making time, where Alex and really those podium positions are making up time is in the corners because they're willing to be more aggressive or they're set up a little better. So it's not really... the Atlantic will have the legs, but you can expect that the top 3 here are going to corner a lot better, and that's where things are going to get tricky because you're going to end up with some frustrated F1000 drivers who are not able to make up time where they think that they ought to be.
I believe we're just on board the 81 of Tim Pierce there, riding in 4th. So here comes Mayer again to complete lap number 8. 16 to go if we can keep it green.
This is what's curious here for me is Mayer's basically having to hold station and by extension getting a little bit of wash off of the 67 of Chris Ash, and I wonder if that's going to help out Shane Prieto or not. You'd think.
I would think that it would, just because we know Mayer's being held up, but I don't know that Prieto has the raw pace to be able to hang with Mayer, even with Mayer compromised by the wash off the Atlantic in front of him.
Yeah, that was close to the point that I wanted to make, which is that if you're Shane Prieto, you enjoy seeing Alex held up behind the 67, but it may not really help him all that much. They are dropping Riley Harris, it looks like.
The other interesting thing here, Joseph, is that Mayer is going to have the draft off the back of the Formula Atlantic. So the supposed top speed advantage we saw yesterday out of the Furman is sort of negated, even though he himself will have a draft.
Yeah, it's a little bit of cooperative DRS.
Yeah, Mayer's a lot closer this time as we come up through turn 11. I just wonder if we're going to see that Atlantic pull off to the side, the 67 of
Well, he's got no
Chris
obligation
Ash.
to. He's not even getting a blue flag, right?
No, absolutely. I mean, this is a battle for overall position. This is more a gentleman's agreement. But you know what? If Mayer doesn't have the legs to get by him, then fair play.
No, and they're almost on equal pace. I mean, it's tough to say whether or not that's raw pace or if it's the pace that's dictated by the fact that Alex is unable to get by.
Yeah. I want to note, too, Joseph, we've got a good little battle developing here with Pierce, Cadwalder, and Hamilton for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Wilhelmy has dropped off the back of them a little bit, not so much, but enough that the three of the 4th, 5th, and 6th grouping has separated themselves. And we'll keep an eye on that as well. They're not tucked right up under each other's diffusers, but they're not separating themselves from each other either. So Atlantic, I think, is maybe overdriving things a little bit as well, and that may be holding Mayer up a touch. But in any case, like you mentioned, they've separated themselves from the number 12 at Riley Harris, who found himself kind of in no man's land. With any luck, so the black car you see behind Riley Harris, the number 12, was in fact Nico Vardis, the recovering Nico Vardis. And if nothing else, I guess he can get himself into a little bit of a scrap with Riley Harris if he wants to. And a real obligation to pull over and get out of the way. But
if I remember correctly, Nico was one of the participants who actually hadn't met Ohio before this week.
Yeah, I think it was Prieto.
Okay.
I believe it was Prieto, yeah.
But
Vardis hadn't been in the car for a while. He had been away from the North American Formula 1000 Championship for about a season. He's come back, and this is his first weekend back in the car. But he's been here before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'll tell you what, Joseph, sorry to cut you off. Prieto is close there to the back of Mayer in the braking zone at turn 2. I don't know if that was just a sort of a late move on the brakes to see how late he could push the application into the braking zone, or if he was really thinking about a move on Mayer.
One thing I'm curious about that I don't know the answer to is if the cooling on these is tight enough that this is actually hurting Mayer's engine performance.
Yeah.
Being behind the hot exhaust of the Atlantic. But certainly, I mean, you're absolutely right. That gap has shrunk. I think a little bit of what you're saying is you're also seeing the F1000s come back up to speed.
Yeah.
Which was they weren't able to run this pace in the morning qualifying session.
Not at all.
So we're already going. I think it's a couple seconds faster than we qualified.
We're at a 22.2 is the best lap from Shane Prieto, and I think that's 4/10 off of Nico Vardis' pole time. But remember, that's full of fuel in traffic. With the draft, okay, but it's amazing the difference a couple of hours and a few race sessions will make.
I think if there's going to be one word that Alex Mayer is going to have to describe this weekend, it's going to be traffic.
Let's try and get on board with Prieto here. He's got a really nice run out of turn 1, and this is where he seemed to be the strongest.
He's pulling on him in the straightaway
big time. He's going to try the move on the way into turn 2. Doesn't lock the right front, and if he doesn't have to pinch the exit here too much.
No, they're side by side.
Yeah, they are. You can just see the front tire of Mayer's car. But if Prieto can jump right up into the draft here, we know the Furman is quick down the back straightaway. Mayer's lost the draft a little bit off the Formula Atlantic.
That's a little naughty, Alex.
Yeah, and you could hear how early Prieto had backed up. I'll tell you what I saw there, Joseph. As we went into turn 1, Mayer was closer than he had been to the back of the Atlantic, and that'll be the fastest corner on the track. The closer he got to the Atlantic, the less speed Mayer was able to carry through the apex of turn 1, doing something over 100 miles an hour. And I think that allowed Prieto right up onto the back diffuser of the 77 of Mayer, and that gave him the run. Exactly. That gave him the run down the straightaway into turn 2. But I think that's what it's going to take. Prieto had the move basically done, and had Mayer not executed the Pruitt fade to perfection through the kink there at turn 3, I think we might have seen another move from Prieto into the braking zone at the end of the straightaway.
Yeah,
but he's going to have to build back up to this now, because that already took him a couple of laps.
So a peculiarity of this S's section that Shane was trying to make the move on is you can make that outside line work. If you force the other driver to pinch that turn 5. You can run around the outside there and give yourself the inside line for turn 5. So it's an absolutely valid move. As Alex he's in the slipstream of the Atlantic.
He's got to run this time.
So is he going to? Oh, okay. He's been given the inside lane, and so that should free him up.
We'll catch it. Yeah. So he's made the move. Mayer's made the move, and he's dropped Prieto a little bit as a result. If Prieto isn't able to get by here, or he's held up at all by the 67 Atlantic of Chris Ash, then I think this is Mayer's chance to make the escape. It'll be interesting to see his lap time, both this lap and the next lap, to be honest with you, because he'll have had a fantastic tow all the way down the straightaway from the keyhole into the start of the S's.
Yeah, the gap is visually opened up. It's obviously
It might be 2+ seconds by the end of this lap.
It's a strong possibility because he may well be capable of running high 20s already, and he's been running mid 22s because he's been stuck behind the Atlantic for the better part of this race.
21.4, already the fastest lap of the race. Prieto does a 22.2, and the gap is 1.8 seconds, just like that. So Prieto here isn't just battling Alex Mayer's talent on track, but he's also battling an Alex Mayer that spent an entire qualifying session this morning frustrated in traffic, and now spent the first half of race 2 this weekend frustrated behind a Formula Atlantic. Again, the Atlantic's not under any obligation to move. However, if you're Alex, you've spent all race tied up behind other cars' diffusers, all day really, tied up behind other cars' diffusers. And now is your chance to go fast and put it all together.
And bear in mind, Alex had a front row seat to the accident that ended the race yesterday, which was an F1000 trying to overtake an Atlantic.
Yes, that's true.
So he knows very well what can happen if you misjudge that. So I think he was wise to wait for that. A little aggressive maybe in defending against Prieto, but I think that was absolutely the attitude that he needed to have to be successful and not give up that spot.
It'll be interesting to see here what this does for Prieto. We know he's still stuck in behind the FA, but now that he's sort of iRacing style lost the draft.
He's also very much in real life lost the draft.
No, but that's what I mean. Now that he's out of the slipstream of the 77 of Alex Mayer, that was contributing to his lap times in a not insignificant way, right? That now he may not have, even if he gets past the Atlantic, he may not have anything to go try and chase down the 77.
You know, funnily enough,
there's a car pulling off here to driver's right, headed up the back straightaway, Joseph. We just see it just past, actually it'll be right underneath the flagger stand there at turn 3.
Yeah,
I was going to say that was on an onboard.
Yeah,
headed up straight.
To driver's right here. If you look to driver's right, stay on this onboard.
Oh, is that him there? Well, there.
No, he's just crossed the start line.
Yeah, so he's well off into the grass. So I wouldn't be shocked if they leave him till the end of the session.
Yeah, that was a white. Yeah,
I honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if it were Hamilton.
It would either be Hamilton or Harris. Those are the two white I believe the only two all-white cars in the field.
But based on timing, Harris would have come across the line a couple of seconds behind. Oh, we're going to go full course yellow again, Joseph.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I don't think it would have been wise to leave that car there. I know it's off and probably unattended to, but that is the fastest part of the circuit, and you'd hate to think of the consequences if that car was left there and somebody went off track there.
That's very true. So 9 laps to go here. We're 23 minutes deep, which means in a 35-minute time session, unless we can just get this car sort of towed off to the side, this is going to be a challenge.
Well, and the question is going to be, so that car has pulled off of its own volition. It doesn't appear to be broken. So if it's something the question is going to be, is it something that can be just towed back on a tow rope, or is it also dropping fluid and something that's going to have to be pulled behind a wall? If it is pulled behind a wall, that may actually be a quicker resolution, and so we might be able to get underway in a couple laps' time.
I can tell you I saw Harris come across the line here. Actually, Joseph, this might be an F1000, because the only other white car would be Steve Hamilton.
You mean an Atlantic?
I'm sorry, an Atlantic. Yeah, the only other white F1000 is Steve Hamilton, and he's just come across the line.
I don't know who that... It might be Austin Hill, then, in the 8. He's fallen back quite a bit. You know what? Actually, no, I take that back, because he's running around the pace you'd expect him to be.
If only there was some timing software that told you cars that hadn't crossed the line recently.
Well, we won't get into that.
No, we won't.
Yeah, I'm unconvinced that... I don't know, basically. We'll see in... Oh, that's curious.
So we picked up the leader. Safety car has been dispatched from the end of pit lane.
So Stephen Hamilton's best time, if you look at timing and scoring, has zeroed out.
I'm not sure what's going on there, because he's clearly recording laps. He's completed 15. Interesting, as we come across the line here, the 12 of Riley Harris has been caught by the 00 of Nico Vardis. Now, Vardis is 3 laps down, but he restarted in the middle of the pack, which I guess gave him something to do if he's going to be out there clicking laps off anyway. But interesting that he's caught up to the back of the number 12.
To be honest, if I'm Riley Harris and I know Nico's faster, and I know he's not for position, I might let him just pass me and see if I can take his toe up to the guys in front of me. Now, that strategy has become a lot more pointless now that we're full course yellow and the field will bunch back up.
It's funny, too, that those are the first 4 we started the race with. The battle before Nico Vardas spun and got high-sided on a curb was Mayer, Prieto, Harrison, Vardas. So we've got that now, but that 67 Atlantic of Chris Ash is still stuck right in the middle there.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I still don't feel like I have a sense of who has gone missing on us. Because it's neither of the 2 cars that you see on the entry list that did not take the start, Bob Corliss, who was involved in that turn 1 accident, and Douglas Hertz, who had a mechanical issue. Neither one came back out to trip timing. So it's not like we've had somebody with a damaged car come back out and.
No, indeed. I'm not sure what the situation is there. That's kind of odd.
Well, we've almost
because they had no problems in qualifying.
We've almost got the field bunched up now, so we can just run through and see who we don't see.
We do, and the safety team has come out from the carousel sort of staging area around to go meet the stricken Formula Atlantic.
It might be,
right on the
is it Charlie
away.
Peter? It might be the 2 of Charlie Peter.
I got to be honest with you, Joseph. I haven't paid close enough attention to most of the Atlantic field to be able to identify which car we're not seeing. But I would buy that.
That was the one car that I didn't clock.
I'll tell you what, he's actually the only one who's not on the lead lap anymore. So I'll take that for you, or from you.
Yeah.
The 2 of Charlie Peter.
Yeah, okay, so that is an Atlantic that we presume that is an Atlantic that stopped on the inside of turn 3.
Poor Charlie Peter, one of the few drivers we've seen on track before on DriversEye Live.
That's right, yeah.
Along with Alex Mayer.
At this track? Probably at this track.
You know, that's funny. I don't actually remember.
We had 2 opportunities. Take your pick.
And I don't feel badly mentioning it here. Alex Mayer, Charlie, and Hans Peter, who run in the Formula Atlantics, have all participated in the World Racing League before, one of our other broadcast partners here on DriversEye Live, Amateur Endurance Racing. But I think that speaks to the versatility and the talent of some of these drivers, that they can go weekend to weekend, hop in a front-wheel drive touring car or a BMW Club Sport car, and then immediately come back in and get in your high-performance, open-wheel, big downforce slicks and wings car, and do it so seamlessly and with such, basically raw talent and pace. It's been fun to watch Alex do it, and now seeing the Peters here in the Formula Atlantic class is kind of a neat. It's been a neat thing to follow too. Joseph has pointed at the starter stand because there's a checkered flag in the starter's other hand, and I note. And I don't understand why. Timing has stopped. Timing is no longer incrementing time for me. Oh, it is for me.
Oh, good. Okay.
There's some time behind there.
Well, yeah.
13 minutes.
Okay, great. Well, that explains why we're so close to throwing a checkered flag, because I don't think we're going to go back to green.
I'll tell you what. Half an hour flies by. Are we going to go checkered? Yeah, okay. We've got 3 flags in the starter's hand here. The double yellow, the vehicle flag, because we have to send out a tow truck now for the car that's stuck on the back straight by turn 3.
Acura pace car pulls the field into pit lane, so they will actually take the checkered flag through pit lane.
Very interesting.
Not the first time we've actually seen that procedure carried out this weekend.
No. So we'll get our parade of the field here into the pit lane. All of this having been said and discussed, the result is the same as it was yesterday. Alex Mayer, the number 77 JDR chassis, and under yellow, takes the checkered flag for race 4 of the 2021 North American Formula 1000 Championship, presented by EPC from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Shane Prieto finishes second, the number 43 Furman. Riley Harris in the Van Diemen, the number 12 chassis.
Throws up a Haka sign at his team on his way.
Finishes third, 3 manufacturers in the 3.
See, that's diversity of
It is, and we had some data on engine manufacturers as well. I would throw that in there, but we don't.
It's somewhere. I just don't remember them.
It's been an interesting race to follow, both yesterday and today. I know we finished under the yellow flag here both days, which is unfortunate.
We're sending
those
out
involved.
we're sending out cleanup trucks, which
sweepers.
tells me
lunch.
that.
Tells you it's
Oh,
lunch.
yeah, fair enough. Okay, I was going to speculate that actually the two may have dropped fluid.
That may also be true. However, it is also lunch, so I wouldn't be shocked if they're sending them to sweep. Anyway, having watched these two races unfold over the last 2 days, we have a little bit of time to kill before we start the podium down at the Formula 1000 paddock.
Didn't even need an in-lap.
No, not Alex Mayer kind of ran away with it yesterday. Today, he was given much more of a challenge by Shane Prieto. And I got to be honest, Joseph, had Alex not faded left coming up to the braking zone for turn 4, not a block, but a fade, with the way the yellow came out, this result could have been slightly different.
It could have been different. He aggression was the name of the game for Alex today.
Had to be.
Because not just because of the situation with the Atlantic car, but also with that race start where they were 2x2 side by side. He launched. He took the flag straight out the gate and jumped from second to first within the corner. They say you can't win a race in the first turn. I think Alex won a race in the first turn.
It's probably true, although he was harried for it. I mean, it wasn't a walk away at the front like it otherwise might have been. Shane Prieto did a really, really nice job to hang with him. And to be honest with you, I think Shane did everything right. I mean,
absolutely.
Everything we were thinking up here was because we were seeing it from the onboard of the number 43 of Shane Prieto. He just did such a good job setting up the move, calculating where Alex was good, where he wasn't good, where Shane was better, and what the impact, more than anything, what the impact of that Atlantic out in front of Alex was going to be, and where he could take advantage of that most usefully.
Right, and he was trying interesting lines. He was doing interesting things. You see a lot of times at amateur and club levels where someone will just, because they haven't developed racecraft, will just try the same move over and over and over and over again. He didn't do that. He did it both Shane and Alex basically did exactly what they needed to do. They played the optimal race today, but the advantage went to Alex, and so how we finish.
I think Shane Prieto might have had the most fun of anybody this weekend. The battle he had yesterday with Nico Vardas, and to be honest with you, I mean, he was on the receiving end of the move he was trying to make on Alex Mayer yesterday during race 3, right? So it's been interesting to watch and fun to watch Shane and the battles he's been involved in this weekend. Again, we'll just run down the order here as we wait for the podium ceremonies to begin, which will be streaming live here on DriverSeye to round out our coverage this weekend. Alex Mayer wins from Shane Prieto under yellow. Riley Harris finishes third in the number 12 to round out the podium. Tim Pierce, the number 81, in fourth, was setting up for a nice battle with the 39 of newcomer Thomas Cadwalder in fifth. That unfortunately never really materialized as a result of the yellow. But in any case, a top 5 for Thomas. Steve Hamilton finishes there in sixth. John Willowmy a lap down in seventh. The number 31, Furman, rounds out our lead lap finisher. Actually, Willowmy was off the lead lap. Vardas rounds out our finishers for race 2 this afternoon. Nico Vardas, the 00 after a spin early on in our race here today.
Yeah, fast lap. It will come as no surprise to anyone. Went to Alex Mayer at a 121.3. We never got our 19, I'm afraid.
No. Did get dangerously close to the 20s. Mayer did.
Yeah.
At least in the race today. I think he did dip into the 20s yesterday in qualifying. But
yeah, he did.
That will have been it.
No, indeed.
Just coordinating with our producer here. We'll wait for the podium camera to be set up, and then Dustin Hodges from Right Turn Racing TV can get to interviewing our podium finishers and, I believe, give away the Move of the Weekend award.
The 2, just shifting gears slightly, the 2 did come back on a tow hook, but not with any tarpaulin underneath it. So that wasn't necessarily a fluid issue. It was just that they needed to move the car off track, and we didn't have time to make that happen.
Standing by here with coordinating with the fine folks at the North American Formula 1000 Championship. I think we'll need to move that camera further back here in a moment's time.
Yeah, I suspect that is a work in progress.
Yeah, I think so. Nice shot for MPT Industries, though.
Yeah.
The only true synthetic oil.
What does that mean? Because you sound like you've done research into this. What?
I've been told.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The only true synthetic oil. But also sponsors of our pole position award in the F1000 season
Convenient.
series. Yeah, we've given 2 of them away. A whole case of oil just for winning the pole. So Alex got a case. Nico Vardis got a case.
That's great.
Lots of clapping down there.
That's a lot of clapping.
Yeah.
They're excited. They're excited.
Well, I mean, when you get to see the pride of Harleysville, Pennsylvania bring home another Formula 1000 trophy, how could you not be?
No, we almost had a shake up in the top of the order. Has Alex been to? Alex has been to Mid Ohio, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But no, it was not to be. But all of his own doing. It has to be said. It's not like the field laid over for him.
No, absolutely not. And to be honest with you, it's easy to glean when you're looking at results. You sort of try and glean as much information as you can, but it doesn't tell the story of the race, right? Almost ever, unless you have a lap chart to go with it. So you see Alex Mayer, he'll win 7-8 races in a season, but he's not walking away with them. Just even watching this weekend, now that we've had a chance to experience the North American Formula 1000 Championship in person and watch these races play out as motor races, as
There
we
we go.
we move our camera back and get set up for the podium here.
Yeah, I have to say, I do wonder what how would the race, ifs and buts, I guess, but how would the race have turned out if Nico Vardis hadn't had that incident up in the turn 9 area?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Vardis, he had every opportunity by starting on pole position and leading the F1000s to green. And unfortunately for him, Mayer just got such a good jump off the green flag. And he took Prieto with him, which meant that now all of a sudden you're not just stuck in behind Alex Mayer, who, maybe he's one of the fastest drivers in the series, but now you've got to work your way past Shane Prieto, who's no slouch either. You've got to work your way past Riley Harris, who has jumped you on the start as well. And it all just seemed to sort of cascade from there that led to the mistake and had him high-centered on the curve.
Yeah, and it's an easy trap to fall into, right? You start on the pole and you get overtaken pretty quickly by a couple of cars, and now you're in a completely different mindset.
Yeah.
And so it's easy to feel like you're in a situation.
I waved back. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why you did either. But yeah, it's easy to feel like you're in a situation.
All right,
where you
guys, let's kick
Yeah,
off
go
the
ahead.
round 4 podium for the North American Formula 1000 Championship presented by EPCUSA.com. First up, let's get our 3rd place finisher to take a step up there. It is number 12, Riley Harris. Oh, I didn't give you a mic, did I? Oh, that might help. There you go, man.
Thank you.
How was your race?
It was awesome. Got a great start. Was battling for Alex up in first place, and then he outbroke us a little bit. But Shane had a good move up in keyhole to take second from us. But it was a good race. It was hard to keep up with those guys once they got in the toe of that Atlantic, though.
Yeah, that'll help a little bit.
It's almost like they punch a big hole.
You think? I don't know. It's like Arrow Works or something. I don't know. All right. 2nd place. Let's get him to come on up. Number 43, Shane Prieto. Man, you had some great in-car action. You had some great moves coming in there, man. Great race.
Oh, that was a blast. What a fun race. Riley, he's got the starts, that's for sure. Jeez. But, I was watching, I think it was Nico and Alex ahead, and I was like, I got to get up there. So I put a ballsy move into 2, but it stuck, and we both went through safe. So it's a good race. Thanks to my brother Sean for always being there, working on the car at the track and at home. and Greg Moon, my engine builder, and then all of our sponsors, Hoosier, EPC, MPT, Sunoco, Hoosier Tires, and sorry for forgetting. Thank you guys.
Congratulations again. And once again, your winner from second to first, 77, Alex Mayer. Hey, Alex, tell us how you kept Shane behind you going into turn 4 with like 3 laps to go.
That's turn 4? Turn 2, isn't it?
No, I meant in the braking zone down here in 4.
I don't remember, do you? No, I don't. Because he was
They were like, Shane does.
He was alongside me going through 2, which is pretty awesome. He really stuffed it in there, and I figured I'm just going to hang on the outside as long as I can and see if I can make it stick.
Yeah, the announcers didn't think you were going to be there when he came out of the corner. They were like, oh, he's still there.
Yeah, it was close. I mean, I was on the far side of the room on the outside there, but, we gave each other the room we needed, and it kept going. So, and then I got past that Atlantic and pretty much put my head down and started clicking off some time once I got some clean air. He was real hard to get by because he was fast in all the wrong places.
Yeah, that definitely kind of put a damper on you two battling. That was not fun to watch. Oh, sorry for you, Shane. All right, next up, let's get our hard charger. There was a couple guys moved up a couple places. Everybody moved up 1, but it is the highest finishing person who moved up the most places. So from 6th to 4th, it is 81, Tim Pierce. Congratulations, Tim.
First things first.
That's right.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. What a race. I didn't see all the action after the green flag. These guys kind of checked out. But me and Tom and Steve were, we were battling it out. I was chasing Tom a lot, several laps, and then I was finally able to get on the inside of him and get around him. And after that, I'd build a lead, and then he'd come back. Build a lead, he'd come back. Like every single lap, the same spots he would come back to. But then I saw the safety car, and I was somewhat relieved, but also disappointed because whatever lead I had was now gone. And then when the checker flew, I was really excited. So, that's the way it works out sometimes. It's a hot afternoon. It's hot in the car. We were working really hard. Got a lot faster over the weekend, and that's can't say anything, but we improved, and that's everything else. Thanks to all our sponsors for
Yeah, congratulations. We got one more thing to give away, and it is the MIR Move of the Weekend. And I've got to say, I was waiting for something. You guys are already up there, so I'm going to throw it to somebody else other than somebody that's already on the podium. And it's got to be yesterday's race. Nico, your move on going into turn 4, yeah, you win, buddy. Come on up here, grab the pair of driving gloves from MIR. Match your new MIR suit. So, move of the weekend, Nico Vardis. Congratulations there, guys. Everybody hold those up, smile. We can get all these wonderful pictures. All right, gentlemen, there's big giant bottles of champagne right below you. Let's have some fun. Celebrate.
Where you going?
Every moment. Celebrate every day, every victory, every achievement. His success has great taste.
I don't want to get wet. I knew he was going to get it. I knew that was going to come.
Great job, guys.
I knew that was coming.
Having a lot of fun. I love it. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's been a great weekend. First weekend we did live video, and I'm sure everybody loved it. Don't forget to join us in 2 or 3 weeks. I can't tell because I got all this on my head. And we'll be back from Barber Motorsports Park for rounds 5 and 6 of the 2021 North American Formula 1000 Championship presented by EPCUSA.com. See you guys in a few weeks.
Yeah! That was professional.
Thank you, Dustin. I hope all of you enjoyed it. I enjoyed the heck out of it, to be honest with you. Like we've mentioned, our normal home is endurance racing, but open wheel sprint racing obviously carries a level of intrigue as well.
A cachet.
Maybe the premier open wheel or the premier series globally is also an open wheel sprint series, but it's been fantastic. The F1000 has put on such a good show, and I know Alex said it was, or Dustin said it was kind of tough to watch the. It was a hard charger that said it was tough to watch the Atlantic kind of hold Alex up. I thought it made for a great race.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Yeah, I mean, it was frankly one of those things that, I mean, who knows? But I thought it was one of the things that actually kept it tight.
Yeah, I think you're right, and we may never know because Shane got caught up behind the Atlantic later, which kind of held him back and allowed Alex to make the escape out the front of the field. But fair play. I mean, this is the way the races are set up. It creates for a fun dynamic, and really it gave Shane an opportunity to try and go get Alex, and he almost did. He almost did down the back straightaway and into the braking zone at 4. It just didn't quite work out, and then of course we ended under yellow. So all that having been said, thanks to Dustin Hodges, Right Turn Racing TV, down there in the paddock for covering the podium ceremonies and of course our grid walks through the course of the weekend. Our producer Tanner up in the Great White North for joining us this weekend for the first time as well. It's been a fantastic weekend of open wheel racing, the North American Formula 1000 Championship presented by EPC, who we send all of our thanks to as well. Kavana Rum and Papa John's Pizza for getting on board and supporting our coverage this weekend on DriversEye Live. Please feel free to reach out, especially to Kavana Rum and EPC, and thank them for being a part of this and supporting the growing partnership between the North American F1000 Championship and ourselves here at DriversEye Live. Been a lot of fun, and I'm hopeful and looking forward to the opportunity to come out and do this a little more often and share some great F1000 racing with the people. So with all that being said, I'm Brendan Kazmarek, Joseph Mudrock, for Tanner and Justin. Thanks, everybody, for joining in, and we'll see you next time out from rounds 5 and 6 of the North American Formula 1000 Championship on DriversEye Live.